I'm absolutely appalled by the fact that the government has been spying on everyone to the level that they've been spying on everyone. Without whistleblowers and without the alternative point of view, it's kind of like 1984, isn't it?
Mrs. Graça Marcel, Mama Winnie Mandela.
Welcome to another Flipside segment, and today we're going to discuss a few people from 2013. My gong goes to the fake deaf interpreter at Mandela's memorial service, because I think he seemed to personify many of the leaders that were there honouring Mandela and his values, but at the same time content at bombing and killing people or treating refugees like absolute criminals. 2013 will also be remembered as the year when the public woke up and realised it was 1984, but most people are so zoned out and they don't really seem to care anyway. I spoke to Greg Buck about three people, interesting people from 2013, and that is President Obama, Nelson Mandela and Edward Snowden.
So, I mean, what do you think about Edward Snowden? Well, I mean, how easy is it to look at someone like that and say, oh, they're a traitor, or, you know, they betrayed their country, or they betrayed their confidence, or whatever. Did we say that sort of thing about the guys who exposed Watergate? Do we say that sort of thing about the guys who exposed atrocities in Vietnam? All these people all had to come out of their shells and betray the so-called establishment, didn't they, in order to do something about what was going on in the world. Now, at the moment, we have a situation where all the media are controlled by the same people. All the regulators and all of the politicians are all in the same trough, all feeding from the same trough. Everyone's scratching each other's back, yeah? What hope is there for any kind of change if you're never going to hear the truth or the other side? And all I can say is, you know, someone like Edward Snowden or Aaron Schwartz or any of these guys who have been involved in these leaks and these kind of attempts to make information public, the WikiLeaks bloke, Assange and so on, all they are doing is exposing what's out there. Now, instead of concentrating on what it is they've exposed, we have this mindset that concentrates on the fact that they've exposed something. Never mind the fact that they exposed the fact that civilians were getting slaughtered, or that the government's spying on you, or that the government's stealing from you, or that the government's in cahoots with the bloody banks. Never mind all that. There was a time when the government was actually a representative of the people. I mean, you know, people love saying that. Oh, well, you know, we live in a democracy. You know, we're free. The government represents us. We vote for them. All this kind of stuff. They say that kind of stuff, but I don't think most people even have a clue what that actually means. Liberty means, you know, you do it our way, otherwise you're a terrorist. That's not liberty.
In the arc of his life, we see a man who earned his place in history through struggle.
I'll give you a really good example. Nelson Mandela recently died. Everyone thinks that he was a wonderful human being. Well, excuse the French, but where the F were all these people when Mandela was being persecuted as a terrorist and jailed and beaten and tortured and all this kind of stuff? Where were these people? So if Mandela was a wonderful human being, and I think he was a wonderful human being, why was he a wonderful human being? Because he was prepared to stand up against the status quo because the status quo was wrong. He was prepared to do that.
For the people of South Africa, for those he inspired around the globe.
All the eulogies, all the presidents, all the heads of state, he's a wonderful human being. But every single one of those presidents and heads of state and so on who say that Mandela is a wonderful human being would be throwing him in jail today if he were Mandela today. Every last one of them, including President Obama. President Obama comes to power on this whole mandate of we're going to change things. Well, I'd like to know what he's changed. I can't see what he's changed. He came to power on the back of a financial crisis where almost every single one of the actors who were responsible for the financial crisis turned into his advisors. What an opportunity is that? He had all of the culprits of the financial crisis, the culprits, all of the big banks, the corporates, he had them all there, and he's the president, he's the jefe, the head honcho, and he's sitting there, and he's got all of them shaking in their boots because they have brought the economy to its knees. And here we have the President of the United States sits them down. And instead of saying, now listen here guys, you guys have screwed up royally, now we're going to change things and you better listen to me, otherwise I'm going to let the masses have your heads. What does he say? What can I do for you boys? And what did they advise him? They advised him to bail them out, so he bailed them out. Sorry, that's not a leader for me. That's not a leader. And I don't like people who compare that kind of a person to Nelson Mandela. And I don't like people who think that that kind of a leader who still drops bombs on people from 30,000 feet and drones them and all kinds of stuff is somehow Nobel Peace Prize material. I don't buy it. It's absolutely clear how having big business in cahoots with government, what that means. Back in the day, there was a term for that. It's called fascism. Fascism is where the government and the big business are in cahoots against the population. That's the definition of the damn word, a fascist state. If the NSA spying and the government spying and so on are all in cahoots with big business, which is what's going on in the States right now, all the big telecommunications company, all the big finance companies, everyone's in bed with everyone else and they all looking to maintain their position of power as the 1% against the majority of the population. But we somehow seem to think that that's kind of like freedom and that's like liberty and that's how we're supposed to be doing things because the government knows best. I think America's liberals are stunned. I think that the whole left of America has been completely neutered by the fact that they have gone to all of this. They have finally got their guy in the White House. Think about it. Yeah. Think about it. They used to lynch black people in America. They used to string them up if they looked wrong. They finally got their guy in the White House and they realize, oh my God, we got ourselves an Uncle Tom. What? Of course the young people in America are disillusioned and don't know what the hell to do next. What the hell do you do next? You know, as far as the established way of doing things, you've got your guy in the driver's seat and it turns out your guy's a fake. What do you do? I rest my case.
So, do we live in a fascist world? Well, keep watching. And we're going to have some very exciting programs coming up. We're going to have smart meters, 9/11 and many more. So subscribe, share, and until next time.